Okay, there we go. Looking at the United Kingdom and Ireland. And so, yes, as we said already, there's Stonehenge in the back. And now let's move on to the basics. The basics chart. And as we already said, since I forgot to start the recording, land area is much smaller than the United States. It's slightly larger than the state of Minnesota. Population, on the other hand, is much bigger than Minnesota. The population of the UK is about 12 times that of Minnesota. 61 million people live in the UK in an area just slightly larger than Minnesota. My question for you is, who can predict, I don't need an exact number, but who can predict what we're going to see with the population density? If we have an area slightly larger than Minnesota, but a population 12 times its size, what are we going to see, Billy? So I don't want numbers, I just want, what do you think in terms of, is it going to be higher than in the U.S. and Minnesota or lower? Way higher, you say. Yes, 252. 252 people per square kilometer. Now keep in mind, that is an average. There are places in the UK where it is higher. There are places where it is less. Just like in the United States, the average is 33.5. You'll get much lower if you go to places like North Dakota. You'll get much higher if you go to places like New York City. So, but on average, population density is rather high in the UK, or the United Kingdom. Arable land, 23%. Official language of the UK. So far, throughout the other classes, they have bombed this question big time. What is the official language of the United Kingdom? What is the official language of the United Kingdom? I'll tell you right now, it is not Italian like somebody guessed in first hour. What is the official language of the United Kingdom? English is the right answer. Yes. English is the official language of the United Kingdom. I have no idea where the person got Italian earlier, but oh well. Life expectancy about the same as in the United States, just slightly higher. And as Billy let out a big sigh, yes, gentlemen, the women still live longer than you. You'll be happy when you find a country where the men outlive the women. That's, I don't know if that's a good thing to think about, that somebody dies. I don't know. Most likely, you'll find something like that if you look at poor countries. You might find something like that. Might. GDP per capita, $36,500. $36,500 GDP per capita. So, let's take a look at the UK. Don't hide your basics charts because you're going to need them when we get to Ireland. But let's take a look at the UK. Who can tell me something specific about the United Kingdom based on the slide that is on the screen right now? There's something you can tell me. There's something you can tell me about the UK just based on the slide. Look at the slide. Take a look at it. Has nothing to do with the picture. Only the words. Only the words. Yes, it's part of the European Union. If it has the EU up in the upper right-hand corner there next to the name, that's going to mean it is part of the EU. See, you learned something without me having to say what it is. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 regions. Are you trying to get paper? Is that what the deal is? Where's your notebook? Somebody have paper that they can give to poor Austin over there, since this is being recorded for posterity, so he's going to be on the web page with me pointing out that he doesn't have paper with him today. I am not going to say his last name, but he does have a parent that works at this school. 4 regions! Who can give me one of the 4 regions of the United Kingdom? One of the 4 regions of the United Kingdom. Casey. Scotland is one of them. What is a second region? Wales, and not the kind that have blowholes. What is the 3rd region? Ariel. England. And the 4th? The 4th? The 4th? Good going, Mustafa. Northern Ireland, so we have England. We have Wales. Notice the spelling. It is not the same kind as the animal that is out in the oceans. We have Scotland. And we have Northern Ireland. 4 regions that make up the United Kingdom. Now, if I bring a map up, you get to see. And if we were to put the borders in there roughly, we're dealing roughly here and here in terms of Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Just roughly dealing with those borders right there. Now, what is the capital of the United Kingdom? What is the capital of the United Kingdom? Zoe. London is correct. Good going. London, and if you didn't know, you could always look on the map here on the screen. The capital is London. Now, there is something special about the people in Wales and Scotland. There's something special that you read about in Wales and Scotland. They have something special. 1, 2, 3, 4 hands so far. 5 hands. Can I get some more? Here's on your assignment for today. Wales and Scotland have something unique or different about them. Yes, they have their own languages. Scotland and Wales have their own languages. Now, the people there do speak English, and not everybody in Scotland or everybody in Wales speaks the other language, but they do have a sizable number. Now, what is the language in Wales? I'll give you a hint. It's not Walish, and it's not Walian. They don't speak with blowholes. Yes. Welsh. Good going, Hannah. Welsh, and what about in Scotland? It's like a cousin or a sister language to Welsh, and that would be Scottish, something else. We got half of it. 2-word answer. Scottish, good. No, and I said it because it was similar to the Irish version that I was playing when we started class. Yes. Scottish Gaelic. Yes. Scottish Gaelic and Welsh are the 2 languages. They are related, along with Gaelic in Ireland. They are what are called Celtic languages. There are some others that have died out or on the verge of dying out. But Wales speaks Welsh. Scotland has Scottish Gaelic. You know what I was just thinking? Didn't we already study a country where there was a region that spoke a different language than the rest of the country? What country was that? That had a region that spoke a different language. Similar to here, The United Kingdom has Wales and Scotland, and they speak different languages there, but we also already had a country that we studied that had one region, it was a big region, that spoke a different language. What country was that that had a group of people speaking a different language? Okay. No, not Argentina. We didn't talk about the different languages in Argentina, but we did talk about the different languages in, Joanna? Canada, yeah. And what region of Canada spoke that different language? Who remembers? It's in the second half of the alphabet. And I told you how to say it properly, with the accent and everything on that E. Ooh, people are looking, people are looking. Emmett? Quebec, yeah. And what did many people in Quebec want to do? Partially because they spoke their own language and they had their own traditions and cultures. What did they want to see happen? Yeah, they wanted their own country. They wanted to break away from Canada. Guess what? There are people in Wales and Scotland that want to break away and form their own countries too. There are independence movements in Wales and in Scotland. The independence movement in Scotland has grown so much that the government of the UK has given them partial independence. Not total, but partial. It means that they have more flexibility in how they govern their local affairs, but they can't go out and establish embassies with other countries and do a foreign trade like that. They have their own parliament, which is something that has only happened within the past 10 years or so. Now, this part I'm going to point out right now. Remember the idea that Scotland has an independence movement, especially when we start thinking about the economy of the UK. It comes into play when we talk about the economy. Okay, so we had the 4 reasons. We've talked about Wales and Scotland. Most of the United Kingdom in the north are low mountains and rolling hills. They are actually very similar to the Appalachian Mountains that we have in the United States. That's because they're part of the same mountain range. The mountains are so old, they were formed when North America and Europe were connected. Over the years, they have drifted apart, dividing those mountain ranges up. But they're basically the same mountains. They're not very tall. You're not going to find much snow on them. They're low. Climate of the UK. Anybody remember what the weather is like in the UK? What the climate is like? Austin? It's mild all year long, and they get a lot of something. They get a lot of something. They get a lot of rain, yeah. What part of Canada or what part of the United States is similar to that, where it's mild all year long and it gets a lot of rain? We talked about it with Canada, and we talked a little bit about it when we were comparing that region of Canada to the United States. Mustafa? Okay, around Seattle, so Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, yeah. Very similar. It's mild all year long and they get a lot of rain. Mild all year long with a lot of rain. London is known for its fog, thanks to its climate. So, there's the physical geography right there. Excuse me. Next, let's move on to the government. What kind of government does the United Kingdom have? You read about it for today. You had an assignment. I'll give you a hint. Canada got its government from the United Kingdom. So it's the same kind of government as in Canada. Two-word answer. PM are the initials. Or, I'm sorry. PD. Sorry. I was up late last week. I apologize. Brain fart. Yes! Parliamentary democracy is correct. Parliamentary democracy. Just like in Canada. Parliament. Members of Parliament get together and they choose one member from their ranks to be the leader. And the leader is called what? Here's where the PM comes in. My mouth was ahead of my brain. PM or Prime Minister. Good. You also read that not only is it a parliamentary democracy, but it also has another kind of government that it's sort of mixed together. This one was a CM. I got it right this time. Got it right this time. CM. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, James. It's a constitutional monarchy, which means that they have a constitution which guarantees people's rights, but they also have a king and queen. But just like in Canada, what do you know about that king or queen? What do you know about the king or queen? Just like in Canada, they don't have much power at all. Good. Good. People are remembering stuff. That's good. That's the point. Yes, sir. Tradition, pride, it's a symbol of their country. It's their representative. For example, if there's a funeral or whatever, a leader dies that was a good friend of the country, oftentimes the queen will go. Goodwill ambassador. But for the most part, it's tradition. There are some people that say, let's scrap it. It'll be a lot cheaper. But it's hard to fight something that's been around for over 1,000 years. So, and actually, the Queen's family didn't originally come from England or Great Britain. They're German. They came over about 150 years ago. Yeah. The economy. Actually, not even 150 years ago, now that I think about it. The economy. The British economy. Based on two things. M and S. Who can give me one of them? M and S. Who can give me the M? British economy based on M. Okay, I gotta go with it. What is the M, Emmett? Manufacturing. And what's the S? Who can give me the S? You're looking at a person that works in an S right now. A teacher in front of you. Hospitals, lawyers, stores, teachers, banks. They are all... Ariel? Service industries. Good, 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 good. Manufacturing and service industries are the basis of the UK's economy. Now, something started in the United Kingdom that you read about. You've read about it a couple times now because in the history part of Europe, back 11.1 or 11.2, you read about it too. Or was it in your regional atlas? Something started in the UK, which has changed the world. It's the reason why you don't make your own clothes at home anymore like they used to do. It's the reason why you don't weave your own cloth to make your own clothes. It's the reason why you don't make the chairs you are sitting in. It's the reason why Your parents didn't build their cars from scratch. What started in, it was called Great Britain or England back then, that changed the way the world lives? Mr. Barr. The Industrial Revolution. Yes, let's make things with factories and machines instead of doing it by hand. We'll use water power to begin with. Then we'll use steam and eventually electricity. Industrial Revolution started in the UK, in Great Britain at the time. It is why we have so many things that we can buy and use today. Excuse me. One last part of the UK economy. It has some natural resources off in the North Sea that brings it a lot of money. They're the same resources that were providing money to Canada's prairie provinces. Blank and blankety blank. Anybody remember? Blank and blankety blank. I'll give you the first letter of the first word. It's an O. Blank and blankety blank. Blank and blankety blank. Spencer? Oil and natural gas. Yeah. From the North Sea. Oil and natural gas. Those are some pricey things. They bring in a lot of money. What could be a possible problem for the UK's economy, especially dealing with the North Sea oil and natural gas? I'm going to back up the slides to show you that map again. Bear with me as I bring back the map. Bump, 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 bump. The North Sea oil and natural gas comes from out here. And out here. And it is piped back to the UK there. What is a potential problem for the UK's economy? And I pointed it out earlier. I said, remember this when we talk about the economy. I said, remember this point. What might happen? Rowan? Might run out, but they got plenty for now. It's not about it running out. Good thought, though. It's not about it running out. Think about where it's going. And something that we talked about a little bit before. Ooh, light bulbs going off over people's heads. That's good. I like to see that. Yes. Ah, good. If Scotland becomes its own country, who's going to get all the oil and natural gas? Scotland. And the rest of the UK won't get it. Scotland will become filthy rich, and the rest of the UK's economy will suffer. That's right. That's one reason why people don't want Scotland to become an independent country, because they'll control all of England's oil and natural gas. Most of the people are Protestant in the UK. Now, Protestant describes the person. Who can give me the name of the religion or the name of the branch of the religion? The person, the follower, is a Protestant. But what's the religion, or what's the subfamily of the religion? I'll give you a clue. A Hindu follows Hinduism. What does a Protestant? Notice it's Protestant and not Protestant. What does a Protestant follow? Cody? Protestantism. Good. You need to know the difference between the name of the religion and the name of the follower. Sometimes it's just a matter of adding an ism to it, but not always. Good. Most people are Protestant. Not all. The UK used to be one of the largest empires in the world. It controlled land on all parts of the world. So much land that they used to say that the sun never set on the British Empire, because at some point on the world, the sun was always shining. Because it had so much territory, it now gets a lot of immigrants from those former lands. The UK used to own India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Hong Kong. It just gave back Hong Kong about 10 years ago to China. But it gets a lot of immigrants from all around the world, and those immigrants bring with them their own religions as well. So when we say most of the people are Protestant in the UK, that's true. But there are large groups of Muslims and Hindus, not that many Catholics, because over the years they have killed each other. And when we get into Ireland in a moment, you'll find out more about that. But many other religions, but the main one is Protestantism. Any questions on the UK? Then fine, let's go across the water to Ireland. And who can tell me something about Ireland that you can see up on the screen? You should be able to notice two things right away about Ireland, but all I want is one. Just give me one. Yeah, and what does that EU thing up there mean? Are you sure? Okay. I think you know. I think you're just feeling a little pressure there. I'm sure you do. Lindsay, can you help her out? Ireland is part of the EU. They are a member of the European Union. That's one part. What's the second thing this slide is telling you? The second thing the slide is telling you, Austin. They use the euro. Good. Ireland is in the EU, and it uses the euro. Let's look at the basics. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Land area. It is tiny compared to the United States. It is tiny compared to Minnesota. 70,000 square kilometers. It's not even half the size of Minnesota. It's about 1/3 the size of Minnesota. 1/3 the size of Minnesota, and it has even fewer people than Minnesota. 4.2 million. So its population density isn't as high as in the UK. It's about 61 people per square kilometer. Still higher than here in Minnesota and higher than in the US. Arable land, 17%. They don't grow a lot of crops per se, but they do make use of the land they have because agriculture is a big part of their economy. Languages, we already talked about these. We got English and we have Irish Gaelic or Gaelic. Gaelic is sort of dying out. There are certain regions of Ireland where Gaelic is more prominent, but that tends to be the farther west you go, the more people will speak Gaelic. Life expectancy about the same as in the United States. And GDP per capita, 45,300. The Irish economy right now is going very strong. Has a very good economy right now. That also is helped by the fact that it doesn't have a lot of people that would spread out the money to. So, let's take a look at its physical geography. Ireland. Bum-ba-da-dum. Ireland, the country. This might get a little confusing here because it's part of the history. Ireland, the country, owns most of the island called Ireland. The country of Ireland, which is officially called the Republic of Ireland, controls most of the island, but not all of it. Most of the island. And if I put a map up here, you'll see what I mean. This map shows you the entire island of Ireland. And the light area is called the Republic of Ireland, or the country known as Ireland. The dark tan area belongs to whom? Or what part is the dark tan area? The part that says Northern Ireland. It is part of the United Kingdom. So most of the island is owned by Ireland, but not all of it. Now, Ireland is made up mostly of rolling hills and plains. Not much in the way of mountains per se in Ireland. And because Ireland is right next to the United Kingdom, what is its climate going to be like? What is its climate going to be like if it's right next to the United Kingdom? It's not farther north, it's not farther south, it is right next door. Mild all year long, yeah. And what are they going to have a lot of? It's mild all year long, and, Corey? A lot of rain. Good. Mild all year long with a lot of rain. Mild all year long with a lot of rain, just like the Pacific Northwest in the United States. Ireland used to be owned by somebody else. It wasn't always an independent country. Who used to own Ireland? One hand? Two hands? Think about this map right here. It might give you a clue. Who used to own Ireland? Who used to own Ireland? The UK, yeah. Used to be owned by, back then it was called Great Britain. But yeah, it was originally owned by Great Britain, or the UK, today. The people of Ireland fought against the United Kingdom. The people of Ireland became terrorists. They used terrorism. Ireland is home to modern terrorism. They are the ones that came up with car bombs and suicide bombers and things like that. The Irish came up with that. They are the home to modern terrorism. They finally got their independence in 1921. There is still terrorism that goes on in Ireland today, in Northern Ireland specifically, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. Yes, sir. In Japan, during World War II, the kamikaze were suicide pilots. Yep. Yep. That is true. What is the... Yes. Irish Republican Army. Very good, yeah. Very good. The IRA technically has said that they've disbanded. There's not as much violence going on today. There's a movie that deals with it called Patriot Games, starring Harrison Ford. It's based on a Tom Clancy novel. Now back to Ireland here, physical geography. What is the capital of Ireland? Starts with a D. And that would be, Ariel? It's Dublin, yes. The capital of Ireland is Dublin. Yep. So, physical geography of Ireland, low rolling hills and plains, mild all year long, a lot of rain, originally owned by Great Britain, and the capital is Dublin. Let's look at the government now. Boom. Same kind of government as in the UK, same kind of government as in Canada. If you know it, raise your hand. Same kind of government as in the United Kingdom, same kind of government as in Canada. People, you can even look back to your notes on the UK that we just had today. Lots of hands are up. That's good. On the count of three, say it loudly, okay? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Parliamentary democracy is correct. It is a parliamentary democracy. Members of Parliament elect one of their own members to be the leader of the country. The economy. The economy is based on making things and growing things. Who can give me the big words for those? Making things starts with an M. Manufacturing and growing things starts with an A. Growing things, agriculture, yes. The two main parts of the Irish economy. Most of the people in Ireland follow the religion known as Roman Catholicism. What do you call a follower of Roman Catholicism? A follower of Roman Catholicism is what kind of Catholic? Roman Catholic, yeah. Most of the people are Roman Catholic. And that's where you ran into problems between the UK and Ireland. UK were Protestant. The Irish were Roman Catholic. And they hated each other. And to a certain degree, they still do. In many parts of Northern Ireland, you would not have a classroom where you would have mixed Roman Catholic and Protestant students, because their families would kill each other, because that's what was going on there for a long time. Ireland is the home to modern terrorism, like I said before. Now, when we get into American history, you'll find out that the United States used terrorism in our war against Great Britain when we fought for our independence. Back then, we didn't have car bombs and suicide bombers because we didn't have bombs. But it was a way for Ireland to fight for its independence. In order to get independence from Great Britain, they started to develop tactics which are considered terrorism. Excuse me. Now, in the 1960s and 70s, many Arabs that wanted to become terrorists were trained by the Irish, learn how to do stuff. Some people still use terrorism today, not as much as they used to, in order to try to get that last part of the island of Ireland to be part of the country of Ireland. People in Northern Ireland have fought many times and used terrorism. Catholic or Roman Catholic terrorists and Protestant terrorists going after each other. A religious parade going down the street, bombing it to kill people. It was like a Protestant versus Catholic holy war. It was a religious war. Over the past 10 years, the violence has been dying off in Northern Ireland. The IRA, the Irish Republican Army, as somebody pointed out, has renounced violence for the most part. But when you look at the world and when people talk about terrorism, don't think that it's just people in the Middle East or that it's just Muslims. Because we've had Protestants and Catholic and Roman Catholics using it for quite some time on each other. In Ireland, nonetheless. Any questions on Ireland? Yes. Between Roman Catholic and what? Catholic is a general category. There's Roman Catholic, Uniate Catholic, Greek Catholic, etc. There are different kinds of Catholics, just like there are different kinds of Protestants, different kinds of Orthodox, different kinds of Christians. So, in terms of the main differences between them, that's not the topic of this class. Okay? Any other questions on Ireland? If not, then